Fitutuan
Ikhona link pa WhatsApp.
Good afternoon, everybody. Please just give me a thumbs up, guys, if I'm audible. Can everybody hear me? Great.
Good
Thank
afternoon.
you. Afternoon. Thank you for joining, guys. All right, so we will shortly begin with the session. So please do note that this meeting is recorded. So for quality purposes, please ensure that your mic is muted. Please just double check that you're muted. Also close off your video because we will also be uploading the recording on our YouTube channel should you need to review the content shared from today's session. So please remain muted for the duration of the session. There will be a time where we will ask you to jump in should you have any questions. But for now, please ensure that you are muted. Okay, thank you so much. So I see from the chat box, we've already started introducing ourselves. I see a lot of you are joining from different websites. So if you're also joining now, please just confirm on the chat, where are you joining from? Are you joining alone? Are you joining with your supervisor? Or are you joining with your colleagues, right? So I see there's Mary joining online from the chat box. Thank you for confirming, Mary, and welcome to the session. There's also Mafi from Enaman Construction. Also from Cape Town, we also Tapelo Shabangu from Protect Training in Pretoria. We have Julia online from Yucatec and Moribula from AI Impact. We have Zianda Njele from Tidecore. Thank you so much for joining the session. Lerato joining from Tidecore as well. Lerato from Sinovulo Consulting, Samelisiwe Tango. We have Raymond online joining from Sovenga Beverages. Welcome to the session. Thank you for confirming your attendance. We have Mvulelo from Alexandra Water Warriors, Raymond from Sovenga as well. Sikwati joining from Makua Incorporated Legal Solutions. We have Musa online from Longmore. It's exciting to see that all of you are joining from different locations. I see youth from Cape Town, youth here in Gauteng, some are joining from Limpopo. We have Hugo from Emily's Play School. We also have Shante from G6 Holdings, Ondela joining from Leap Institute. We have Ayanda from LWFS joining online. Lee Corner joining from Amatuba Collective. Lovely to see you. Lee Corner also coming from Amatuba. We also have Happiness from Mapopane Auto, Awonke from the Leap Institute. There's also Yolanda from Bekweni Community Sports Center, Liseho joining from DOE. Welcome to the session. Lerato from Holong Mo. We have Riddle Nika from Empower USA joining online, as well as Jay. Mary, welcome to the session. Dombigaise from Oza Flash. We have Michaela from Boomba Sign. Nom Tandazo joining from Wanalaka Group Holdings. Felicia Harris from Emily's Play School. I'm also seeing some of our supervisors online, which is exciting to witness. So thank you so much for joining. All right. And I'm also excited to see that our speaker is also online, right? So just to give you a bit of heads up about what to expect from today's session, we're going to be speaking about mental health. So today's session is also about, taking a pause and really seeing how do we balance our work life, right? It's sometimes very pressurizing having to balance your work and your personal life, right? But having to find that balance and finding that moment to just pause and reflect.
Hello,
That's
I
the
can't hear. I don't know
conversation
what's going.
that we're going to be having today. Tabang, I would suggest that you may perhaps try to use headphones if you are unable to hear, but I'm getting that a lot of people are hearing me. I've been receiving confirmations from the chat. But if you are struggling with audio, please just connect with your headset. Thank you. All right, so that's basically the conversation from today's session. We're going to be speaking about mental health and seeing how can we better support you. So I am happy to, spotlight our guest speaker for today, which is Emily Randolph, joining from Amatuba Collective. So over to you, Emily. Maybe if you can just tell us a bit about who you are so that the audience can get an idea in terms of what you do, your background, and so forth. And thank you so much for being our speaker for today.
Sure. Thank you very much and welcome to everyone. I see there are
over 400 people, 430 people. That's a good turnout for the Thursday before Easter. I hope you're all doing very, very well. My name is Rudolph, and like we just heard, I am with Amatuba Collective. I'm the co-founder of Amatuba Collective, and I've been working with young people and with a focus on their well-being for the past 23 years. So I'll be talking to you about what mental health really is and why it is important. At Amatuba Collective, we are assisting young people in work experience programs, such as yourselves, in YES programs, in learnerships, in internships, to be well so that they can do well. This is because we recognize the realities that many of you live in, that the context in which you live is often very, very challenging. And we recognize that it is important that we support you in the journey of your not just professional development, but your personal growth so that you can be better, so you can do better. We also know that in the communities that many of you live in, trauma is real. Communities are not safe. Commute is often not safe, and often the workplace doesn't feel safe either. So we're going to be looking at what mental health really is and how we can support you and how you can support yourself and colleagues to strengthen your mental health and access resources that help you navigate challenging circumstances and situations. So before we jump in, I would like to let me just share my slides. I would like to ask you what you think mental health is. What does mental health actually mean to you? Could we, I don't know if we have prepared a poll or not for a word cloud. That was the hope. But if not, I would like to ask you to just pop into the chat. What does mental health mean to you? What comes up when you hear mental health? Oh, there we go. Thank you so much. So this is an open-ended question. What does mental health mean to you? So just please pop in your answer, whatever it is. Is it a particular feeling or is it a particular thing? Please let us know what mental health means to you. Can I just ask if it doesn't work? Can I see reactions? Okay, there's some answers trickling in. I'm just really curious where we are starting this conversation from. If you've thought about your own mental health in the last little while, if you are constantly thinking about your mental health and what it actually means. So we have 24 answers. Just waiting another couple of seconds. I see there are answers in the chat as well. Emotional, physical, burnout or stress, interest means psychological well-being. Rushin said it's getting to know yourself better and knowing your dislikes and likes. Very interesting answers. Great, thank you. I see there's still answers coming in, so let's give it another second. Okay, so mental health, pacing myself. Mental health is when you're experiencing stress. It's a health situation. Okay, wonderful. Let me stop there. And let's look at the word cloud and see what the results are. What does mental health mean to you? Let me share the results.
Are you able to see the result from your end, Emily?
I only stop sharing and share results. Can't see right now. If you could show, that would be amazing. Should I stop sharing and then?
Okay, let me share my screen because,
Thank you.
okay. So those are basically some of the responses. Is it clear on your end?
Can you make it bigger? Let's see, but can you make the word cloud bigger? Okay, so yeah, sorry.
No, you can
Just
go.
share again, it's fine. It's all right.
Yeah, so it just shows like this. It shows like most of them are saying
Okay.
mental
Oh, that's
health.
all right. I can read.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So the words that are coming up, we see psychological, we see life, we see mind. Many say emotional, social, feel, well-being, handle, overall, stress, cope, your state, the state of your mental health, challenges mentally. So you can see, thank you very much. You can stop sharing. This was really great. You get a sense of where you are, where you're at with what you think mental health is all about. So it is a fact that life is hard. Life is hard for many of us, and it's particularly hard for many of you, young people growing up in underserved communities, in rural communities with not many opportunities available. And yet there's a story about young people needing to be the future, needing to be the leaders of today, and there seems to be a lot of pressure and a lot of expectations on young people in South Africa. And because the challenges are really difficult and difficult to overcome, we are only really able to cope and come up with creative solutions to our challenges when we are mentally well. That means that we are able to think well, that we are able to problem solve, and that we are able to be creative when it comes to situations, not just at home in our communities, but also particularly at work. So you are all right. Mental health is about our state of mind. It is about our feelings and emotions. It is about our thoughts and what all of that leads to. So when we have a negative thought, it triggers a negative emotion and often leads to negative behavior. What we need to understand is that the context in which we describe young people is very much driven by the narrative of the public. So what we see in newspapers, what people say about the youth, and what we internalize as the reality of what the truth about young people is. And as you can see here, I wonder how you think young people in South Africa are doing, and feel free to anytime pop questions or comments or answers into the chat. But based on these two pictures, you can see that it's not just the environment of high youth unemployment, high levels of poverty and inequality, but in both of these, you can see there is a deeper message on these posters. Sorry, I need a job. Please help me if you can. I am strong. As if, there's a need to justify himself. Sorry that I need a job. Of course, we all need a job, but why are we feeling bad about being unemployed? We are not lazy, as if, that seems to be the assumption out there, that young people are lazy and not able, and that's why they're not feeling, not finding a job. So I want to start off by saying that young people in this country have been dealt a really, really rough, and that many of you are unemployed, are not able to exit career path that you were hoping for, and that you live in communities that are not well looked after, not well resourced, and where unemployment is high, the fact that you are born in circumstance is not your fault. It is not your fault. Yet, as I said, the negative narrative kind of drive the message that young people are the problem, when in fact it is systemic problems that keep driving unemployment and that keep driving the story that it is young people's fault. So if we are looking at the state of mental health of young people in this country, and young people is really, we are looking at 15 to 35, and it is shocking to note that suicide has now become the second leading cause of death amongst people as young as 15. 1 in 3 South African young people have experienced mental health before the age, before the age of 25. Less than 10% of young people with mental health challenges receive the assistance that they need. And depression, so depressive symptoms, affect over a quarter of our young people. So depressive symptoms are particularly tricky because we can't often differentiate between a bad mood or just a just a bad day, or if we are seriously depressed. And the story that it is your own fault where you find yourself is not helping, because often when we can't get out of bed in the morning, we immediately assume we are lazy and we are the problem, when in fact it might be a brain condition, a chemical imbalance, and a real medical challenge that makes us. Sorry, there's a feedback. Thank you. When it's in fact depressive symptoms that makes us not being able to get over our darkness, over our sadness, over our heaviness. And so I just want to state that being in these situations, is it possible to mute everyone?
Sorry about that,
Thank
Emily.
you.
They are muted
Please, guys.
now.
Okay, thank you very much. So that we all understand that there is a difference between a bad day and a bad mood and actual depressive symptoms. And depression, just like many other mental health conditions, are often a response to trauma. And the trauma, like I said in the beginning, in our communities is real. There are too many adverse events. So too many times we are witnessing violence, we are exposed to violence, we lose people we love. And these are all events that traumatize us, that really distress and disturb us, and we need to process and we need to heal in order to move on. But too often we are pushing these emotions down and we're ignoring them, and we are not dealing with the trauma, with what's actually happening in our lives, and that is affecting the way we show up. It's affecting the way we think, it's affecting the way we feel, and it's affecting the way we behave. So in this context, you're all in YES programs, you're all gaining work experience, you're all hopefully on your way to building a career and building a productive and fulfilled life. But we all know that youth unemployment in South Africa is way too high, and it's unsustainably high. But what we are not talking about as much is the mental health crisis that is both underlying the youth unemployment crisis, but also is a direct result of the unemployment. So when you're not well, when you're not thinking well, you can't get out of bed, you can't motivate yourself to make that phone call or drop off that CV, you can't get yourself to do it, and you beat yourself up internally and you blame yourself for it, then you are not able to go and actually access, go to an interview, make a convincing positive pitch, and have a phone call that would maybe land you a job. So when you're not well mentally, you are more likely to stay unemployed. Yet when you are employed, you're already, that it impacts your well-being. It impacts the way you think and you feel. So the unemployment is also a result of the mental health, and the mental health crisis is a symptom of the youth unemployment crisis. So I hope this makes sense and this resonates. I would love to see some thumbs up if you think this is true, and this is something that we need to talk about a little bit more in the public, because unemployment is directly affecting our mental well-being, and we need to. Thank you. I'm seeing a lot of thumbs up. Thank you very much. So in the context, we need to really consider our mental well-being in the context of employment, economic activity, and overall well-being. Could we do the first poll? Because I would like to get an idea of what your state of mental health is. How often do you feel stressed and anxious is a question that I have for you. Can we put up the poll? Thank you very much. Please, would you respond to me? How often do you feel stressed or anxious? All of the time, very often, regularly, sometimes, or not very much? I did not include never in there because I don't feel that's possible to never feel stressed or anxious. Okay, thank you, thank you. It seems like about half are saying sometimes, but about 30% of you say all of the time or very often. Only 9% are saying not very much. Okay. Got about 300 answers. I think that's super. I'm going to close this poll. And if we can look at the answers. Again, I can't show results. Okay, can we look at results quickly? Can you see the poll question? Can you see the results? So we can see here that, thank you. So we can see here that 14% of you, 41 out of the almost 300 that voted, say all of the time. So you feel stressed and anxious all of the time. How well do you think are you able to think in this state? If you are constantly stressed, you're constantly anxious, you worry, you do this, you can't really focus because you're so worried about what's happening at home, you're so worried about the money, you're so worried about the work, whatever it is, you're not going to be able to access your quality thinking. And I'm doing this, you can see me, I'm doing this because this is the part of the brain where your creative thinking and your problem solving and your innovative fresh thinking happens, your creative. But many of us spend our time, especially if you're stressed and anxious all of the time, you're accessing a part of the brain that's sitting back here, which is the amygdala. And that part of the brain is responsible for our fight, flight, freeze mode. It is our survival brain. And often in these contexts, there's referral to when we used to run away from saber-toothed tigers, because that's when our brain developed as early human beings, Homo sapiens. We needed this brain to detect threat and danger and risk. And the three options available to not get into the thinking was fight, flight, you run away, or you freeze, you don't do anything, which usually in the case of wild animals doesn't end well. So we have this part of our brain, which is the primitive brain, that really just gives us those three options when we are in situation of threat and danger. Yet when you're feeling stressed and you're feeling anxious because of what's happening around you, still that brain kicks in. And we often arrive at work feeling very stressed because our communities are not safe, because our commute is not safe, because we worry about money, because we worry about what's happening around us. And so we are constantly in this state of survival and don't have more options available to us. This is neurological science. This is not, oh, you can pull yourself out of it, or you just need to toughen up, or you just need to. It's not physically possible to access this part of the brain when you're in survival mode. So the fact that almost 60% of you are it's 50% of you all of the time, very often, more regularly in this mode of stress is really, really worrying. And I hope you can see that mental health is not something that we do think about once in a while and do a little retreat, or go for a nice walk, and then we are set again. Our mental health, just like our physical health, is something that we need to consistently and constantly look after. Mental health is not just stress and anxiety, it is also joy and happiness and fulfillment. When we are well, and we feel joy, and we feel seen, and we feel heard, and we feel valued, so we feel good about who we are, then we can access a different part of our brain. We can show up differently. Just like with our physical health, when we eat well and we exercise and we drink a lot of water, then we are able to run much further and jump much higher and have much more energy and feel much better about our physical. So in the same breath, there are a lot of things that we need to do in order to look after our mental health. Okay, I am really happy for the 9% who said not very much, because especially in the world that we live in, not just in our communities, but also in the macroeconomic and political space we're in, I think constant stress, anxiety, and worry is more normal than it should be. Okay, let me stop sharing and go back. Can we do the next poll, please? Because I want to know what are the factors. How would you rate your stress level on a normal day, any normal day? I would like to see, where are you on a scale from 1 to 10? Can we pull that up? Thank you. You give me an idea, please, where you are at any normal day of work. You think it's a Wednesday. Think what you usually do. You get up in the morning. You get ready. Maybe there's family to look after, things to sort out. You need to get to work. Maybe you worry about transport money. Maybe you worry about what's going to happen that day. Maybe there's a lot of work. Maybe there are deadlines. Whatever happens that might. So not just the big things, but every little thing. And just give me an idea of where you're at between 1 and 10. What are your stress levels? And you got 188 answers. Don't overthink it. Just say it's here, it's here, it's here. So this would be your scale is very low, 1. This is you're good. This is a 5. Your stress levels are medium, and this is I'm very, very stressed. This is a 10. Okay, I still only have 188. Are you anyone else? Okay. All right. I can't seem to. Can't seem to see the result. Stop sharing. Can we see the results?
It's showing on my end.
I can't see the results.
Okay, let me reshare again.
So
All right, there we go.
I am asking these questions about your, there we go, thank you. Okay, I see it's a word cloud as well. I wanted to see a scale, but that's okay. So so some of you feel definite there's a big 10, so that's a lot of your stress levels are very high. There's even 100, an 8, a big 8, and I can see you're already giving solutions or symptoms. So you have headaches, but and pains, but you breathe deeply, and so we're already going into the next area. Okay, thank you. Let me share again, please. So the first thing in order to improve our mental health is to be aware of our mental health and the state of our mental health. So if we don't know how we are feeling, we can't work with what we are feeling. So we need to become aware of our thoughts and how the thoughts are triggering emotions. We all know that there are triggers. It's become quite the buzzword, and we know that sometimes we do get triggered when someone says something or when something happens, and it is really important that we start to understand where this is coming from, the triggers and the emotions, and what these emotions are trying to tell us, because they're actually not scary. Emotions themselves are not harmful. They are just feelings. But we've learned growing up in threatening circumstances, whether it was because there wasn't enough food or because there was a threat of actual violence or there was just no emotional safety, whatever it is, the way we grew up, we are learning behaviors that kept us safe in those environments. So we've learned to maybe not speak up because the environment was threatening and we didn't feel safe to say what we feel. Maybe there was a physical punishment right away when we would express our emotions. And so we've learned to not express our emotions. We've learned to not behave the way that's aligned with what we are feeling, because we are trying to keep to survive, to keep ourselves safe. But these learned behaviors over time have taught us that maybe suppressing emotions is better than speaking up. So many young people in South Africa think that they're introverts just because they've learned over the time to hide who they are, and so now they think they're shy. It's just a personality thing. They're introverts, but really that is not that doesn't have to be true. It is learned behavior. Many of us, because we are in fight, flight, freeze mode, get either really reactive or withdract from conflict. So what does that mean at work? When you're at work and your manager or your supervisor is criticizing you for something. Maybe he's even angry because something went wrong, but it's not necessarily targeted at you. But someone is shouting and it's feeling unsafe, so you react and you either start fighting and get really, really angry and it all comes out, which is not good in the workplace. workplace or anywhere for that matter, or you start, the dialogue in your head that now it's all my fault again, and I'm the problem again, when actually and you have a story in your head and you run away, or you are just so shocked and terrified and that you're not doing anything in that moment, and that does not lead to a resolved conflict or a better situation thereafter. So our learned behavior and our reactive behavior, the more we are aware of it, the better we can respond, the better we can not instead of reacting, responding, and grow ourselves, become a better version of ourselves by identifying our patterns and by learning to respond differently. So I have another question here. What factors contribute most to your stress? So many of you said that your stress levels are high. What are some of the factors that contribute to your stress, and which ones contribute the most? Can we pull up the next poll, please? Thank you very much. So the options here are personal problems and family issues, unsafe communities and commute, financial stress, workload and deadlines, or your physical health. If there's anything else, feel free to pop it in the chat if you feel like you want to add to these options. If there's anything else that is stressing you. Thank you for those. Responding quickly. You can see financial stress is a big one. Personal problems and family issues also. There's only 11% of you say that workload and deadlines are a big contributor. But again, this is the question is, what's the most stressful? Okay. Yeah. So this is very much in line with what we are seeing in our interactions with thousands of young people across the country. It is financial pressure that seems to be the most stressful. And often when we unpack that, it's not actually the money that's the problem, but it's the family that's directly linked to it. So in the context of work and earning, we often speak about the unsightly term, the black tax, but it's really the expectations to contribute at home once you earn a little bit that is causing a lot of stress. So on the one hand, you think, well, if I earned more money, then I'd be better off. But often it is the relationships that are not healed at home, where expectations and pressures exist that we can't, that we feel we can't solve unless we have more money. So these two are very, very closely related. Also, if we are responsible for our own children or our siblings or other family members that we are looking after financially, we think it's financial stress, but really it's also directly related to our responsibilities at home. So thank you very much. I hope you can see here it's 49% of you who say financial stress is the biggest contributor, with 31% saying personal problems and family issues are the biggest contributor to your stress. Thank you very much for sharing. I appreciate it. Now, let's look at why our mental health is so important, and why it is important to talk about it. I don't know what's happening on the screen. There's some people doing interesting things. Do you see that as well? The lines and the arrows. It's pretty. I just don't know what it means.
Yeah, they're just trying to make notes. If you can just stop sharing and reshare again.
Okay. Just mute everyone again. All right. So I think you got a sense of why mental well-being is important, because only when we are well internally, when our emotions, we can regulate, just identify and regulate our emotions, but also understand how our thoughts are determining how we feel. And there's very little that we can control outside of ourselves. So our external circumstances are our external circumstances. What we have a little bit of control over is how we respond to these external circumstances. So if we pay attention to how we feel inside and we nurture our own well-being, we can respond differently to our environment and feel differently about our environment. So because what is happening outside of us is not in our control, we need to start focusing more on what is happening inside. Because if we manage to calm our nervous system, and like I said earlier, we are able to access different parts of the brain, which will bring us solutions, which will bring us fresh ideas, which will bring us motivation and confidence to engage with people who might be able to help us. Or we built the motivation and the confidence to sit down and figure out, what is this business thing that I want to do? Or how do I get better at what I do? Or how do I approach my host or my manager to ask for opportunities within the company? All of those things, all of that drive, that motivation, that feeling of I'm going to do it with excitement can only happen when you're well inside. So this is not just true for young people. We need to be well in order to do well. So your responsibility, we've established that it's not your fault where you're at and that it's difficult and that life is hard, but it is within your power to take control and take responsibility for how you're feeling inside, so that what comes out of you is better what already exists. So I hope that makes a lot of sense. This is where your power lies. It was Viktor Frankl, an author who survived the concentration camps in the Second World War, who said it is between the stimulus, so the event, whatever happens, and your response, how you react, what you do in connection with that event. That is where your power lies. Between stimulus and response is where your power lies. That means something happens, someone shouts at you, someone is mean, something triggers you. In that moment, you can take a deep breath and you can consciously decide how you want to react. So that's your true power. And it is your responsibility to look after your own mental health, because no one else is going to do it for you unless you ask for help. But that's part of looking after your own mental health. And what I explained earlier, understanding your behavior as well, that you're not necessarily an introvert or shy just because you've learned to bottle up and hide your emotions, to not get into more trouble. It doesn't mean that you're always in survival mode. You can actually calm yourself and create different patterns of behavior. But for that, the awareness of how you're feeling, what the state of your mental health is absolutely critical. So we've noted the contextual realities of your communities in the commute. Now let's look at the workplace for a moment, because many workplaces are not geared towards creating safe spaces where especially entry-level talent and entry-level employees like yourselves, where they are looked after and nurtured, and the spaces are created where you can really thrive and can feel safe enough to access your frontal cortex. And that's also not the fault of anyone, but then many managers have not learned to look after their own well-being as well. So I do believe there are some supervisors and managers in the call today. So all of this is true for you. You need to be well in order to do well. And it is your responsibility also to create a space where your teams and your employees can feel well, so that they can show up and actually add value to the business. I'm finding it very hard to understand how in many public schools learners are taught that asking questions is cheeky, and having an opinion is disrespectful, and better you don't actually need to apply what you're learning, or you don't need to absorb it. As long as you pass your exams and you pass the grade, you're good, because that seems to be the standard. And then you arrive after 12 years of that education, you arrive in the workplace, and the first thing your manager tells you is, why don't you just ask? Why don't you apply your mind? Why don't you think? And I'm looking at this and go, isn't that pretty unfair? Isn't that setting them up for failure? So it really starts with understanding contextual realities, understanding where our young people come from, understanding where yourself are coming from, and trying to meet each other differently so that we can all feel safer where we're at, where we're working, where we're living, from a place that comes from within our mental and overall well-being. So can we create these spaces for each other and for ourselves? So inside, we create those spaces for ourselves, and at work, we create those spaces for each other. Your internal dialogue for everyone is really, really important, and something to pay attention to as well. You want to know what is the tone of the voice that I use when I talk to myself. What's the tone of the small voice within my head? And I'd really like you to just for a moment check in quickly and think about, when I make a mistake, do I beat myself up and go, oh, I'm so stupid, I can't believe I did this? Or are you going into defense mode and you're just, everyone else is wrong but you? What is happening when you're running out of money at the end of the month and there's still other responsibilities and you feel terrible? What is the internal dialogue? So just for a moment, just check in with yourself. What is my inner voice sounding like? And you don't have to share, but if you like, you can always put something in the chat. Okay. So if we look after our own mental health, it also means that we are teaching ourselves to be kinder and gentler to ourselves, because we are not able to give to others what we don't have for ourselves. So if we want to have good connections and healthy relationships at work and at home, we first need to have a good, solid and healthy connection and relationship with ourselves. So if we don't have patience or understanding for ourselves, we cannot give understanding to someone else. Generosity, self-love, all of those. You cannot love someone properly if you don't love yourself. It's not possible. You cannot be kind and compassionate and caring towards others if you don't have that attribute or that characteristic for yourself ever. So the more caring you are towards others, it usually means you're also caring towards yourself. But we're also carrying a lot. There's a lot of baggage, there's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of stress. So looking after ourselves and being all gentle is often a luxury. But healing you and healing youth in South Africa should be an absolute priority on every level, in education, in the workforce, in all the recreational and developmental spaces, because we need to build the individuals in order to build better relationships, in order to build better communities in a better country. So it all starts with you and your well-being, your internal well-being. So, yeah, just a few messages for you to take away. At Amatuba Collective, we believe that it is the foundation of self-love that makes all life improvements possible. Because you are worthy and you are wonderful. You're all amazing, deserving human beings who deserve a happy future, a fulfilled life. So internalizing that message, I'm amazing, I'm wonderful, I am deserving of happiness. That message towards yourself is building self-love, is building self-appreciation, and it will help you to build the positivity and the confidence to make changes outside. If we grow trust for ourselves, we trust that we can. We trust that we will. We can have compassion towards ourselves and be kind to ourselves. And with that, we can also be kind to others. If you don't think in competitive ways, if you don't think in scarcity, but you think in, I'm okay, I love myself, I know I'm worthy. If you do know you're worthy, and you can then meet someone else with much more generosity because you're not fighting for status, you're not fighting for resources. So the more kindness you have for yourself, the more kindness you can give to others. Another very, very important element of healing yourself is to spend your internal, your mind space, your internal energy, your mental energy on positive things. I often refer to this analogy when you are learning to drive, or when you are, I used to mountain bike down the hills, and you don't want to look where you don't want to go. When you're learning to drive, you're told, don't look into coming traffic. Why? Because that's where you're going to go. If you throw yourself down a mountain on a bicycle, you don't want to look where you don't want to go. Don't look at the tree. You drive into the tree. You ride into the tree. You drive into a turn and you want to look where you're going. And that's the same with life. You want to spend your mental energy and the time thinking you want to spend looking at where you want to go, not what you don't want to happen. So creating a vision for yourself, what that life that you really think you deserve, what you really want, what does it look like? What does it feel like? And get excited about what's possible so you can replace that future angst, that future anxiety that so many of us have, with anticipation, with excitement, because now you know you're worthy no matter what, and you have a vision for the future. And now you can get excited because I know I can, and then you will. I hope that resonates. I really, really hope that resonates with you, because I've seen it in many, many young people. As soon as they have received the confirmation, external confirmation, internal confirmation that they are worthy and they're actually able, and they create this plan or just this picture of where they want to go, there's no stopping them. And I'm pretty sure the same is true for you. Sorry, just stop sharing and share again. Something's not clicking. Here we go. So I also believe that the future of this country, for the future of this country, it's really, really important that we do have hope and that we do have positivity and optimism about what's possible. And yes, there is a lot of pressure on young people to be that future. And I deeply, truly believe that it's not because you're just at a certain age, but because your generation is different, because your generation is seeing things differently and has different kinds of ideas and different kinds of energy. So if we learn to harvest and harness what's within us when we are well, we can turn the thing around in no time. And I believe that that's possible. And with that, you can create lives that you actually enjoy living. So when it comes to work, what I mentioned briefly earlier, the safety is really important. This is psychological safety, so that we can move from the amygdala to the frontal cortex and generate ideas and have better problem-solving skills. So creating an environment at work that feels safe is absolutely critical. For that, we want to check our own judgment, not just as supervisors, but also as colleagues. Many of us are parents, many of us are, family members that meet others with judgment and very preconceived ideas of what they ought to do and why they are wrong. But if we replace that and go, I wonder why he did this now, instead of going, I can't believe he did this again, and try to view things from different perspectives, that enables more safety, that generates more ideas, and that really allows us to think better. So for you to realize that you have the power to change things, and not by forcing others to do something, but by nurturing yourself into well-being, so you have better ideas and better energy levels. Reframing is a very, very powerful tool. If you see a problem, don't just see the problem. Like when you're learning to drive, you don't want to look into the oncoming traffic, so you don't want to focus on the problem. You want to think about, how would I feel when this problem is solved, and what would reality look like then? When this problem was solved, what would that look like? So you think about solutions instead of the problem, which again generates ideas and motivates you to take action. You want to encourage yourself and others, and you want to do that by providing positive reinforcement as well. So we often speak about catch people doing well. So whether that's children, or whether that's young people in our program, or that's colleagues, when they do something well, don't just go, okay, that was well, but tell them, even if it's a little thing, even if it's something that I see you do something that I asked you to do before, now I don't have to ask you, catch them doing that and note it, because that really builds confidence. And that is true for yourself as well. If you have done something that was hard, acknowledge it, talk to yourself positively, and say, I'm actually pretty awesome for having done this. You deserve it, and it's true. And just really train your brain to think positively, so you can generate more ideas, and you can build the confidence. So the accountability is also, we work a lot with a lot of young people in programs who think that they are coming for us, that they're doing this for us. And we always remind them, you are not going to work for us. You are not in this program for us. You're not doing this to do anyone else a favor. This is only about you. This is your responsibility to an opportunity to use and build a better life. Use it as a stepping stone. Don't go, oh, now I'm here and I'm doing, I don't know, the government or youth at work or yes, the favor. You're not. This is a stepping stone for you to create a future that you want. So learning to take responsibility, learning to be accountable for your own actions is a process, but it starts with you. And it starts with a process that is inquisitive, it's curious, it's not judgmental. Also when you talk to yourself. So I want to say that it's possible to have a very happy, healthy mind and produce very great ideas and take action and be motivated and have the energy if you're building that positivity within yourself first. So creating safety at work, internally and externally, means that we are engaging with each other with empathy. We are compassionate. We are creating caring spaces. We are kind to each other, friendly, sincerely interested, and very, very importantly, non-judgmental. I know it's hard to do that, but it's trainable and it's doable. So I know that many of us struggle a lot. And sometimes, I mean, I want to say that most of us have thought about ending it all at some point in our lives. But when it becomes a more frequent thought and we actually start planning how we end our lives, that's a critical moment. And I'm sure you're all aware of that. And I would like you to just check in with yourself when things become too much, when they become too overwhelming. Ground yourself, take a deep breath, feel your feet on the floor, and think about the good things that do happen in your life. Think about the good things that will happen in your life. Think about the people that care and love you, care for you and love you, and remind yourselves that everything will pass if you can create safety and love within yourself. But if it gets too much, there are lots of organizations who are there for you. So when you feel the darkness is too heavy and you can't pull yourself out yourself, there's no judgment either. It really is absolutely, in these circumstances, it is absolutely normal. And these are some of the organizations that provide help when you need it. Youth at Work has their own wellness helpline, and maybe you can say a word about that, when we are done. The SADC crisis helpline is a very, very good resource. You can call them night and day, 24/7, when you feel you're just not coping, and they have lovely counselors who will talk to you. If there is a problem that's more directly linked to your family and your household situation, FAMSA has offices across the country, and they also do online appointments. Here's the number. And if there's something specifically related to substance abuse, the substance abuse helpline is very helpful. And Lifeline South Africa has also incredible counselors. They are also available 24/7. And I know that talking on the phone is not for everyone. Amatuba Collective has a WhatsApp line. If you want to communicate via WhatsApp and get help with referrals to any of these organizations or other ones, please reach out via WhatsApp. So maybe take a screenshot or a photo of this slide. You can obviously also find all these resources online, but do know that asking for help is a strength and not a weakness. Looking after your mental health is your responsibility for your future self. So I hope you found this helpful, and you can WhatsApp Amatuba Collective. You can find me or Amatuba online as well, but please also ask Youth at Work about the available support services from their side. So I'd like to thank you. That's everything from me. I'd love to see some reactions or comments in the chat to see if this was helpful, valuable for you. If you've learned something, I'd be very keen to hear it. Lots of hearts. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emily. Thank you. I'm seeing so much love from the comments. Some of them sharing that they really needed the session. It was very much helpful. But I'm just going to highlight one more thing, guys. Please ensure that you complete the attendance register before you leave the meeting, just to confirm that you were online on the session. I have shared the link on the chat. Remember, the recording will be uploaded on YouTube, so please check it out. We will be uploading it soon. But I don't know if there's any other questions. And also, I wanted to spotlight our brand ambassador for the month. Remember, everything Thank Thursday session, we do share some youth, either an active youth or an alumni who we are spotlighting for the month, who are doing a very wonderful job. So for this month, we are highlighting Tobja Morokolo. He is our alumni, was funded by Katala. So we are awarding him rather for demonstrating exceptional resilience, innovation, and commitment throughout the journey of the program and beyond. So congratulations to you, Tobja. We've seen your work. We see the passion and impact you're doing out there, even as an alumni. I know he is a freelancer currently working on his business, even post the program. So he is very passionate about the work that he does, and sharing the impact that the program has brought in her or his personal life. So thank you so much, and congratulations to you. Right, I'm looking at time, guys. I'm just going to reshare the link one more time. Is there anything else before we close off from you, Emily?
I have put my email address in the chat as well if you have any questions. We have a very, very wide referral network, and we'd be happy to assist where we can. But I think, again, just to highlight the main message that you're all wonderful and you're all deserving of a happy and fulfilled future. And if you start believing that truly, then you will create it. There's no doubt. And thank you to Youth at Work for having me, and for the wonderful work that you guys are doing.
Thank you so much for your time.
Can we ask questions? I don't know if there is. Do I play bass? No. That's the guitar. Can they ask questions? Do we have time, or should we?
I don't think we have time, but I think if you guys have any questions, please refer to our hotline number. I'm happy to take them to Emily should they need her intervention, but please feel free to ask your questions. And happy Easter holidays. Travel safe. I know most of you are traveling, gonna spend time with family, so do rest and connect with family and travel safe. Thank you for joining the session. Let's see you then. Open your videos, cameras. Let's say goodbye. Thank you for joining, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
The participation.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Sister.